All right. I'm seeking a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the character, professional competence, or physical and mental health of individuals. So moved. Second, roll call vote. We'll start with Board Member Wright. We. Okay. Yeah, will you go grab them? Do one of you guys want to chair this executive committee and I'll leave? Anybody want to?
You're not jumping up. Did you notice that?
You know what? I can do it.
No, I don't care who it is.
You want to turn? Okay.
I don't know this. I don't have the
Okay, you have to get into the book and you can track it, and into the blue book. There's this right here. You guys know you have this also as a tool that's in your blue book. I've asked, seeking a motion to come out of executive session. Do we have a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, we're out. Board members, if I can get you to take your seat, we'll get started. Okay, I think we've got enough to get started here. I'm going to turn the time over to Vice Chair Ellis, who handled our executive session to deal with action from our executive session. So I'll turn it over to handle that segment. And then Board Member Cannon, you're on deck after we get on this to get your report.
Thank you. Carol?
Case number 17.
Hold it. Let me get your mic on. Hey, can we have everyone come to the table, please?
Joel,
Sorry,
all the teachers.
it was education related.
Says this.
Agreed.
Okay, go ahead. Board Member Lear.
In case number 17-1409, I move that the board approve the UPAC recommendation for the educator's license to be suspended for a period of no less than 2 years, consistent with the consent to discipline. That would include any conditions.
Okay, the motion on the table is for the board to accept the UPAC's recommendation that the educator's license be suspended for a period of no less than 2 years, consistent with the consent to discipline. We need a second, sorry. I need a second before I repeat it. Second. So the motion on the table is that the board takes UPAC's recommendation that the educator's license be suspended for a period no less than 2 years, consistent with the consent to discipline in case number 17-1409. But she didn't say this part. Should we have her? Is there any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Any opposed? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Thank you.
Case number 17-1422, I move that the board accept UPAC's recommendation for the educator's license to be suspended for a period of no less than 1 year, consistent with the consent to discipline, and that includes any conditions that might be attached.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second on the table for the board to accept UPAC's recommendation that the educator's license be suspended for a period of no less than 1 year, consistent with the consent to discipline and any other recommendations attached in case number 17-1422. Any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, We'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Go ahead.
On case number 17-1433, I move that that the board accepts the UPAC recommendation for a letter of reprimand consistent with the terms of the consent to discipline, and the educator may request removal of the letter of reprimand not less than 2 years after the date of the UPAC action.
Second.
Second. So we have a motion and a second in case number 17-1433 for the board to accept UPAC's recommendation of a letter of reprimand consistent with the terms of the consent to discipline, and the educator may request removal of the letter of reprimand not less than 2 years from the date of the UPAC action. Any discussion to this motion? Yes, Board Member Warner?
Is it on? Do we know how many districts and charter schools, how many LEAs have implemented HB 286 and are ensuring that everybody's trained on reporting laws? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot,
So,
Okay,
you're-
Brian.
Brian?
Brian. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
so you were asking if we have any way of counting the number of schools and
Do
districts?
we
that are
know if all the
implementing?
LEAs have implemented HB 286 where they're supposed to, part of that was to train educators, administrators on mandatory reporting laws?
I'd have to check with staff on that.
Okay.
They're a little closer to that issue than I am.
I was just curious.
I believe it's one of our assurances, so that would be the reporting mechanism that they have trained. And we're in the process of looking at all of those assurances. So that's something we can report back to you on to, A, either make sure it's an assurance, and B, what's the level of reporting in that assurance.
Okay, I have a second question. I can't remember in HB 286, I don't remember if anybody even knows about it, but how often are they supposed to train? Is it once a year? Mandatory reporting laws, do they need to be reviewed once a year?
Yes. Go ahead and please state your name.
Angie Stallings, Deputy Superintendent. And yes, well, it's every year, but just this last session, the statute was changed to every 2 years. So it has been every year, but starting May 9th, so it's the next school year, it'll be every other year.
Okay, thanks.
Any other discussion to this motion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes. We'll go ahead and move on to the next case.
Case number 16-1375. I move that the board accepts UPAC's recommendation following a hearing that the educator's license be suspended for a period of no less than 6 years, consistent with the hearing report, which includes conditions. And the person's reinstatement would be subject to a recommendation to have his license reinstated.
Okay. Do you want to second this, or do you want to have a discussion before
No,
the
I want to make
motion?
a substitute motion.
We need to have a second to this one first.
I'll second.
A second. Okay, now discussion to the motion, and you can go ahead and make your substitute.
I'd like to make an alternate motion that we direct staff to prepare findings on this case.
Findings for,
Okay, so the substitute motion isn't consistent with this motion because it's opposite. So what we need to do is vote on this one, and then if it
Okay.
fails, then you can make another motion. Okay, is there any discussion to the
This is
motion on the table, which is that in case number 16-1375, the board accepts UPAC's recommendation that the educator's license be suspended for a period no less than 6 years, consistent with the hearing report?
Brian,
Mark.
your attorney's. Brian.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. AG Quisenberry?
Just a
Or-
point of clarification, I think you were actually doing that, is we ought to vote first on the initial motion, and that's what you're doing. Okay, yeah, I'm okay
Yes.
with
Sorry, Board Member Wright, did you have something?
No, board.
Okay, sorry,
I
Board Member
do.
Lear?
I just, the reason I made this motion and I support this motion is because the motion's made following a hearing where, when the case was heard before and was sent back, and then there was a hearing that put witnesses in front of the panel, and the recommendation came back as proposed. And I think at least I give great weight, and have been persuaded that we should give great weight to UPAC recommendations. On other issues, I feel the same with this one.
Okay, is there any further discussion to the motion on the table? Board Member Hanson?
And the reason why I'm not in favor of this is because UPAC didn't feel comfortable doing something that we may feel comfortable doing. And the prosecutor did suggest that the license be revoked. So that's why I'm going to vote the other way.
Any other discussion to this motion? Okay, we'll go ahead and take it to a vote. All in favor, so let me restate the motion. In case number 16-1375, the motion on the table is that the board accept UPAC's recommendation that the educator's license be suspended for a period no less than 6 years, consistent with the hearing report. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? No. Will the ayes raise their hand, please? Okay, we have Board Member Reby, Board Member Lear, Board Member Cummins. So the motion fails. Board Member Warner?
Is it on? Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we direct staff to prepare findings for revocation.
Do I have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second that in case number 16-1375, that we direct staff to prepare all of a sudden findings for revocation. Any discussion to the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so that motion passes. The opposed are Board Member Reby and Board Member Lear.
Next case.
Sorry, Board Member Nielsen,
Scott?
were you a no vote too? No. Okay, sorry, I just want to make sure.
In case number 15-1302, I move that the board accepts the UPAC recommendation for reinstatement of the petitioner's license.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, in case number 15-1302, we have a motion on the table for the board to accept UPAC's recommendation to approve the petitioner's request for reinstatement of her educator license. Do we have discussion to that motion? No.
Which one was this? Can you repeat this?
Case number 15-1302.
Yeah, this is the one.
Okay, seeing no discussion to the motion, we'll go ahead and have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
In case number 07848, I move that the board accepts UPAC's recommendation for reinstatement of petitioner's license.
Second? Thank you. So the motion on the table is for case number 07-848, that the board accept the UPAC's recommendation to approve the petitioner's request, did I not move? For reinstatement of their license. Any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes.
In case number 16-1367, I move that the board supports the UPAC recommendation or approves the UPAC recommendation for the educator's license to be revoked, consistent with the hearing report.
Seeking a second.
Second.
Thank you. So the motion on the table is for case number 16-1367, that the board accept UPAC's recommendation for the educator's license to be revoked, consistent with the hearing report. Any discussion to the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to, go ahead.
I move that the board accepts the UPAC consent calendar with the exception of one case, which is case number 18-EH5.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the table that the board accept UPAC's consent calendar with the exception of case number 18-EH5. Do we have any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
On case number 18-EH5, I move that the board takes no action. Is that not one that we can do?
We just don't take action.
Oh, we did do nothing. Never mind.
We do on a motion.
I just made it then.
No action is no action.
Can I ask Ben
Dismiss
to
the
come up
case,
to
I
the
guess.
table?
I guess we could dismiss the case. or-
Please introduce yourself.
Coming on, oh, there we go. Ben Rasmussen, Director of Law and Professional Practices. If no action is taken, the case is out there pending, so if we could just get a motion for no action, we can close it up and inform the educator.
Thank you. Okay, so can
So
you just
definitely.
restate that motion?
On case number 18-EH5, I move that the board takes no action.
Do I have a second? Second. Okay, the motion before the board is in case number 18-EH5 that we take no action. Any discussion to the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes with 2 no votes, Board Member Belknap and Board Member Brittany Cummins. And that ends our UPAC.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ellis.